Comprehension questions for Year 3. Bill's New Frock by Anne Fine. I've read the text and now I'm going to answer the questions, but I'm keeping the text beside me because I know I'm going to refer to it lots when I'm answering. Number 1. What does the word baffled in line 2 mean? Use a dictionary to help you. I've looked in my dictionary, but actually the word doesn't appear there. So I'm going to see if I can find some clues that would help me get a rough idea of what it means. If I don't know exactly, then at least I can carry on reading. The word baffled here comes after when Bill woke up on Monday morning, he found he was a girl. So he's just made a discovery. And it says he was still standing staring at himself, which suggests that something odd or something different has happened. He's surprised about something. So when I come to that word, which says he's quite baffled, I think that word is going to mean something to do with surprise or bewilderment or confusion. And in fact, the word baffled does mean confused or bewildered. Number 2. What do Bill's mother's comments about wearing dresses tell us about her attitude toward girls? I've read the text, so I know roughly where to look for things that involve Bill's mother, and it was in this part. So I'll reread that and see if there's anything useful. His mother swept in. "Why don't you wear this pretty pink dress?" she said. She describes the dress as pretty, which makes me think that she likes dresses, and especially pink ones. "I never wear dresses," Bill burst out. "I know," his mother said. "It's such a pity." Obviously Bill doesn't want to wear it, and that's making Mum sad. She said it's a pity. So she obviously thinks that it's a good thing or a nice thing for girls to wear dresses. So I'd say Bill's mother's attitude is she likes dresses and she thinks girls should wear them. And she certainly likes the colour pink, from what she says about it being a pretty pink dress. Number 3. Why do you think Bill doesn't argue with his parents when they start treating him like a girl? Again, I'm going to skim read to see if I can find something useful. The word argue might be a good keyword to go for. Before he could even begin to argue, she had dropped the dress over his head and zipped up the back. So actually, he doesn't argue with his mum because he doesn't get a chance to. She's putting the dress on him before he can say anything. Now, it does say argue with his parents, not just his mum, so I'm going to read a bit further in case there's anything else useful that I could put in that answer. I know that he has a conversation with Dad later, so I'll go down to that. Yes, Dad says, "Bye, Poppet. You look very sweet today. It's not often we see you in a frock." He ran downstairs and out of the house so quickly. So Dad was obviously in a bit of a hurry and didn't stop to have a conversation with Bill. So again, Bill couldn't talk to Dad because Dad was rushing off and did things in a hurry. So I think my answer would be, Bill doesn't argue with his parents when they start treating him like a girl because he doesn't have time. They're both doing things in a big hurry. Number 4. How is Bella the cat's behaviour toward Bill different to his parents' behaviour? Okay, I'll read down and find something about Bella the cat then. Might be a clue there. Again, I'm going to skim read. I'm searching for the word cat, so I'm sort of trying to read quickly in my head, but I've also got Bella the cat in my head as well, and when I find a match, I'll stop. Bella the cat. Bella the cat didn't seem to notice any difference. She purred and rubbed her soft furry body around his ankles in exactly the same way as she always did. Okay, her behaviour is exactly the same as it always has been, that line tells me. But his parents' behaviour is different, of course, because they never used to make a fuss about what he wore, or him wearing dresses, or him wearing pretty pink things, or looking sweet. Those aren't things that they've said to him before. Bill's clearly surprised by this behaviour, isn't he? He's flabbergasted, he wants to argue but doesn't manage to find time to do it, and he's not happy about what's happening. So Bella's behaviour is exactly the same as usual. She doesn't seem to care what he's wearing or what he's doing. Mum and Dad's behaviour isn't the same as usual. They're making a fuss over his dress. So the cat's behaviour toward Bill was the same as always, and that's different from his parents because now they're making a fuss over his clothing when they never used to. Number 5. Explain why Bill says what he's experiencing could be a nightmare. Now that word explain tells me this is going to be quite a long answer. It's not just a yes, he's experiencing a nightmare, or no, he's not. So I'll look for that bit about a nightmare and see if I can find some information. Skim reading again. That word nightmare is quite a long one, and I know I read it somewhere down the end of it. Yeah, there it is. Or it could be a nightmare. I will read around to help me do my explanation. He didn't seem to have any choice. Things were just going on the same way as in a dream. Dreams and nightmares are related, aren't they? So that could be useful. And I'll read on as well. Hanging about on the corner was a gang of boys from the other school. So what? I'll keep reading. Bill recognised the one they called Mean Malcolm in his purple studded jacket. Mean Malcolm makes me think that that person is not nice. They might be causing trouble. So I wonder if that's the reason why Bill was thinking about himself being in a dream 1 minute, then he sees Malcolm and suddenly it turns into a nightmare. So I think Bill thinks he's experiencing a nightmare because it's like a dream where he doesn't have any control over what's happening, but it's a bad dream because there's something or somebody nasty in it, namely Mean Malcolm. So Bill says he's experiencing a nightmare because it's something he has no control over, like a dream, but a particular sort of dream, a bad dream, because there's somebody nasty in it. Number 6. How might the children at Bill's school treat him differently now that he's a girl? Again, I want to use the text to give my answers if I can. So the first thing I might say is that they might say he's wearing a nice frock and is he enjoying wearing that pretty pink dress and isn't it lovely? They might think that's what girls normally do. They might think of other things that girls would normally do. They might ask him to play a game with them about dolls. Or they certainly would expect him to play with other girls. So my answer could include lots of things, but I want at least one of them to refer to what's happened already in the story because I want to make it really clear that I've read and understood it. So I might say that the other people might expect Bill to comment on their clothing, their dresses, and say that they're nice. And they might expect him to play with girls rather than boys, and to like things that girls like, or girls are supposed to like. Dolls, for example. And that's all the questions done.